Well, hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal on a Friday afternoon. I'm just on my way to go and get a quick test done at the medical labs. Hopefully it'll be quick, and then what I'm going to do is to go and pick up my groceries. Now, you know, some of you have heard that I've been having my groceries delivered for a couple of weeks because I wanted to try it out, and there is no doubt about it, I have saved, I would think, at least $50 to $75 a week by doing that, because I'm not impulse shopping. I'm basically just getting what I need, plus I guess you still do some impulse shopping, because while you're looking for the one thing, you think, oh gosh, I need that as well. So that is, but you're not doing it in every aisle, I guess would be the reality. And so today I thought what I would do is try out their other service, because they have two. One is to have it delivered, which costs about $6, depending on what time you have it delivered, which, by the way, oh, really, Richard? Cannot believe, just because I've got a dirty great truck means I don't need to use, apparently he doesn't have indicators. He tried to swerve out into my lane, except I was there. I think his heart's going quite well now. Definitely a big Richard, not a little Richard, that one. Where was I? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is try the pickup service. Not because I necessarily didn't want them to deliver. I thought I'd just try it out so I could talk to you guys about it. So without a doubt, what I've found out is that having the groceries delivered definitely is saving me money, just in the amount that I'm buying. But think about it, it's also saving me a lot of time every week. And the other thing that it's doing is it is saving me wear and tear on my car, gasoline, all that stuff. The only thing I needed to get over, quite honestly, was my ego about, will people think I'm lazy? And the answer I have is, I actually don't give a shit anymore. It's like, it suits me with the life that I'm living to do this. I thought I'd probably do it for a couple of weeks and then not do it anymore. I still will go to the store. This time we got a Richard driving a truck. But at least this Richard knows that he's got indicators. Anyway, what I probably will do is go and do what I call the big shop once a month to get the bulk toilet paper, the bulk things that I like to get every month. So I'll still do that shop. And also because, you know, I quite like walking around and doing that. So luckily the store where I have to pick up the groceries is just around the corner from where I'm going to have my test done. So it's multitasking. We just had a really great broadcast, by the way, for those of you who know about the Friday lunchtime broadcast. That's Friday lunchtime Pacific time. We do 12 to 2. It actually turned out to be 12 to 3 today, because we were talking about people sucking you dry. And I mean in terms of emotionally. It's a really good subject, and one that I think I really should talk a little bit about next week. Codependency. That when we think that we have to be perfect to get people to like us, or we have to be fixing everybody for people to like us, or we need to whatever. And the answer is no, we need to be who we are and be a good friend. And that was the discussion I was trying to have today, which is being a good friend does not mean that you fix people. Being a good friend means you tell them the truth if they care to hear it. It's normally a good idea if you check that out first of all. It's like we do that a lot on the broadcast with a 2x4. I will say to people, I'm about to hit you with a 2x4. Do I have your permission? Which means I am about to say a truth that you might not like. But you get to choose whether or not I say it. Oh, I was meant to turn in right there and I didn't. Life goes on. All right, everybody, I'll discuss this later. I'm on my way to have this test done, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye for now. Well, that was a bit of a surprise. I was quite convinced I was coming back for a redo of a urine test, and it turned out that I had to come back to the redo of a blood test. Now, one of the things that I was talking about recently was, you know, how people in certain industries and maybe certain walks of life, I don't know, they talk in jargon. And by jargon, I mean that the code words that only the people who know what they're talking about know what it means. So, for example, I got the telephone call that says, you know, we need you to come back because you're blood clotted. Now, I understand that when you know what you're talking about. Well, I didn't hear that. I thought they said the sample clotted, because sample to me meant urine, not blood sample. Anyway, so that was just my misinterpretation. But anyway, so I understand that people who do this every day, they know exactly what that means. Now, I don't know if this makes any sense, but what I get really upset about is I'm not a biomedical person. I don't know if that means that I've got bad blood that clots, because there is such a thing, I believe. So when they phone me up and say we've got to redo it because it clotted, you understand, part of me goes, am I sick that it did that? I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. Well, it turned out that what I didn't know, and I now know, was the reason it clotted was because whoever took the sample didn't shake it when they were meant to after having taken it. It wasn't that my blood was clotting, it was that it clotted because they didn't put this anti-clotting device in it. Oh, however it works. And then they're trying to tell me, well, we got to redo the, you know, CVC. Whatever the code is. I'm going, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So why say it? It's better to say we just need to do one part, redo one part of the blood test. We had to do 4 different samples and one of them was the one that clotted. So we just need to redo one vial. That I understand. I have no idea what this other thing means. And because I don't know, it sets up a stress factor. And then, of course, because I mentioned that, now everybody gets defensive. Ugh. So this was a stressful moment for me. And by the way, Leah, if you happen to hear this one, I'm sorry. When I told you what I thought I had to have was wrong. It actually was a blood sample. And they did a good job, actually, I think. So, I am now going to go and experiment on picking up my groceries. So the first thing I'm going to do, is unlock all my doors, because The reason I'm doing this test run is in case I ever want to do this and pick up my groceries on the way back from work. Now, here's what I like about this. By picking them up, I'm not paying any fee at all. And yet, they've had somebody do all my shopping for me. Walk aisle to aisle and pick up my shopping. And they're not charging me any extra to go pick it up. Now, that's pretty good. That saved me an hour of my time, probably. As we've said, about $50 to $75 of impulse buying. And now I can just pop into where the store is, and they're going to, I believe, they're just going to put it in my car. We're going to find out in just a moment. So I've never done it before, so I could get it wrong, so you could hear some choice words from me if I get it wrong. Because as I was trying to describe at the lunchtime broadcast, I'm not a perfect person. But if this works the way I think it does, it'll be very useful for me. You see, in British Columbia, we get an awful lot of very serious rain. And if every time I can just drive up to the said area and they will come out and load my car. Go Canucks! Canuck jerseys. If they will load up my car each time, that would be awesome. Now I've probably got to do a dipsy doodle here because I've got to think about that. So here's what I'm thinking. Not only will I be saving money during the winter months, but I also will not have to drown, which I normally do when I go shopping, because it ends up being... And I don't know if you've noticed, but the number of parking spots near where you want to be are in direct proportion to how heavy the rain is. In other words, if it's not raining very hard, park here and pick up your order inside. Oh, rats. Hi, I've got an order for... That's me.
Hey, perfect. I'll be on in 1 moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh. Apparently they will come to me. That's what I wanted to find out. That is awesome. Alright, so here I am. I've just pressed the intercom. I'm just going to go back a bit so you can see. There he is. Helpful person.
What's with the pictures?
This is amazing.
What's with the pictures?
Oh, I'm a vlogger.
Vlogging? I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Does that stay up on its own, or the pumps?
Say it again?
Will it stay up, or the pumps are...
No, the pumps are gone.
Oh, okay.
It's like me.
Thank you.
You get to a certain age, the pumps go.
Oh yeah, no. These tend to go and start to give. Thank you for holding that up.
Yeah, I was just telling my viewers about it. You know, I've had them deliver, and I thought, you know, I should go and have them do this part of it so I can tell them.
Well, it's obviously shopping online is easy enough if you understand the processes and whatnot. Choosing pickup, it was easy enough for you?
Yeah, and what I said was, you know, it's good to know so that if I order, I can pick up on the way back from work. Now, my question was, do I have to get out of my car?
No, not at all.
And I read here that I did. It said go and pick it up.
If you were going to go inside, yes, absolutely. But when you come to the pillar, push it, stay here. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. What is your name?
Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Oh,
say hi to the peeps.
Hello, peeps.
So this is a service from Save on Foods. So, and as I said, the amazing thing is they're not charging you any extra to do that.
Nope, it's free.
It's absolutely wonderful. So You can spend your time doing what's important to you, and they'll walk the aisles. It's just saving me about 50 to 75 bucks a week. Do you know that?
No. Well, because you go in there and overshop.
Well, that was very interesting. So now my normal bill would be at least 150 to 200 a week if I go in there, and this ended up being 100. So that's pretty good. Very pleased with that. And as I discovered, I don't have to get out of my car, which is what I wanted to know. Didn't even have to play the grey hair card. Apparently, the little place right next to me there, the other lane, I could do that. So I was very impressed. And remember that they've done all the shopping for me, and I didn't have to pay extra for them to do that. I just have to come down here and pick it up, or come on my way back from work, or whatever. So anybody who lives near a Save on Foods that has this service, definitely worth doing. I actually found, as I said, that even paying the $6 or whatever to have them deliver it was worth it. But if I'm going to be out and about anyway, why not save the $6 and just pick it up? Good stuff. So let's get back to what I was telling you about the noon broadcast. I always enjoy the noon broadcast. We have these sort of pretty deep discussions about stuff that they're helping people. And that's what people were saying, was that they'd had so much help from just listening to the broadcast and participating in the broadcast. And the reason is because every week somebody has an issue of some sort, and it doesn't mean they've got a problem. It means that they've got an issue. And the one that we're dealing with at the moment is a very dear listener, viewer, has been caught up with a friend who has been sucking them dry emotionally, and they tried to do something to help, and they ended up losing the friend. And so part of the discussion was, how do you not be codependent to these sort of people? Somebody described it as a blood-sucking vampire, but it really isn't quite that, but it feels like that at times. And it's a most peculiar thing, because you end up feeling like you're the bad person when really all you tried to do was help. And you know, what I love about what we do in DearMamaSal is we do talk about these things. And we talk about how to cope with these things. And we also talk about things you may watch or read that might help you with these things. And I was saying in the broadcast today that I think about DearMamaSal as a quilt. You know, however much we joke about it, it's not all about me at all. I find with DearMamaSal, we're a group of people, and we all participate in the broadcast. Anyway, we all participate in the process of helping one another. And one week it'll be one person, and the next week it'll be another, and it doesn't really matter. It's not like, oh, they'll think I'm really bozo if I tell them. No, it's not about that. It's like, hello, that's life. We all have things happen to us, and it's really important. And I was giving the example where in the old days we all used to sit around and make quilts, and we talk about these sort of things. Well, in today's society, we don't. So I like to think of DearMamaSal as our quilt making time. And one of the other analogies I gave is that each of us is a part of the quilt. In other words, each of us has a personality. Each of us has a series of issues. Each of us has a series of challenges. And if we keep talking about them, we will teach everybody better ways to cope with all of these things. Now, you might not have this problem, but maybe your friend has this problem. So wouldn't you like to know how to help your friend? Or in this case, how do you stop helping your friend and stop being an enabler and start being a friend? Because a friend doesn't try and fix everything. A friend trusts you to fix your own problems that you need to, if you want to. And if you don't want to, they'll still like you anyway. And it's a great way of not losing good friendships. However, it is also our experience that some people will only want to be your friend if you're going to fix them, if you're going to do all the work. For example, they may need to phone, let's say, the IRS or, in our case, Canada Revenue, or whatever it's called back in England, I can't remember. But let's say you've got a tax problem. Well, they'll want you to make the call for them. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't. It means that they're scared to or they don't want to. So, you've got all these sort of things where people delegate to fixers. And you're good at that, you do it. And the truth is, they will never get good at it because they never do it. Now, a friend might say, hey, I understand you're a bit scared of doing that, so why don't we do it together? I'll come and sit with you while you do it so that you can find out how to do it, and then you won't need me to do it for you. You'll be able to do it for yourself. And probably they will say no thank you, because they'd rather go and get another friend and suck them in instead. In which case, you're free. One of the books I always recommend to anybody who's got a codependency problem, and this is what it's about, and it's also a control problem, but one of the books that I always recommend is a book by Melody Beattie, and it's called Codependent No More. And I remember reading this, long time ago, back in the 70s, I would think. And boy, did it answer a lot of questions for me. And what I loved about it, and I hope it still does the same, is it is filled with explaining what the problem is, which is useful, then taking an example, a case study. For example, it'll tell you if your mother-in-law comes over and starts telling you how to raise your child, this is the script you might want to use. In other words, they're giving you the words that you might want to use. Because obviously we don't have the right words, otherwise we wouldn't have the problem. And that's what I loved about the book, was that it just did give the right information. And it quite honestly changed the way I looked at how I dealt with certain things. This is DearMamaSal saying, if you have a problem with this, if you have a problem with people sucking you in and getting you to do all their dirty work for them, or if you get them you get into a relationship and people are always stomping on your heart, let me know, because then I know it's worth doing a series of talks about. All right, this is DearMamaSal saying, hope you enjoyed your Saturday. Well, you haven't had Saturday yet, but you will be, because today is Friday. Bye-bye for now.